Hello, hello. What is up? What is up? This is alertwolf here. Bring you another anime series review. This time it's Blood Sea back there, as you can tell. And something a little different, just so you know. If you notice, the background isn't the Blu-ray background. This is the DVD background. And the reason for that is I lent the Blu-ray to somebody so that I could borrow Batman The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2, which I did reviews of earlier this week, and so that there you have it. So this is the Blu-ray, or the DVD, screen right there to the second disc. Now there's your box set right here, just to give you a quick reminder. Now, before I jump, just so you know, because I was asked this, apparently I'm leaving them out on my Blu-ray unboxings and whatnot. This is a Region A Blu-ray, and for the DVD, Region 1. Apparently, for our international viewers out there, I'm sorry that I've been leaving this about, and there you go, now you know. Alright, now before we go any further, this is a spoiler alert. I'm telling you right now, I am about to get fully deep into the series. I am going to give away everything. If you watch this review and you have not seen Blood Sea, I will ruin the show for you. I will absolutely ruin it. Do not watch this review without watching Blood Sea first. By all means, I'm going to tell it to you right now, watch Blood Sea. But the whole show, the whole purpose, everything is leading up to how, and I'm not even gonna get into it, but just know that if you continue watching from this point on, this show will be ruined. You will hate me, you will hate yourself for it. If you're looking to see a review to find out whether or not you should watch this show, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's one of those things you just gotta watch yourself. So I'm going to tell you to watch it. I'm not going to give you my rating on the thing, because that comes at the end. But trust me, you're going to want to watch this anime. Judge it for yourself and take my opinion into account. But, believe me, do not watch this if you haven't watched Blood Sea yet. Oh, and apparently there is a movie that they put out. And if you've seen the movie, which I haven't, the Blood Sea movie, don't tell me or message me on it, because I don't want to know. But alright, that being said, let's move forward. And alright, if you're still watching, it's your fault, not mine. Alright, so here we go. So, okay, I'm going to use my phone to cheat, because other than a few names, I really didn't memorize any of these guys' names. I mean, alright. So the main character, obviously, is our girl, Saya Kisaragi. Now, I will say this. She's never called a vampire once in this anime. That doesn't mean she's not a vampire. It just means they never call her what she is. Just so you know. Now, basically, her character, she's this happy-go-lucky girl. Very nice, sweet girl. Kind of dumb, to be real, on personal and interrelating issues, kind of stupid. And she's the type of girl, she's always running late for class because she's doing good deeds. She's the daughter of the head of the shrine, and or the head of the shrine priest, and that's Tadayoshi Kisaragi. And her mom apparently was the priestess there, or the shrine maiden, and she used to use her sword and kill the monsters in this called Elder Barons. And she was killed in the line of duty, and now that Saya's of age, it is her job to do this. And her father can divine when the monsters will appear. That is the premise. So, another main character, and this dude will become super important later on, as I go on with the review. But on the surface, this guy is Futomo Nanahara. Now, Nanahara here is the shopkeeper, excuse me, the local coffee shop. He, because Saya and her dad don't cook, and he's supposed to be a alumni of the same high school as her father, friends of the family, cooks for them, and basically makes Saya special coffee and special cube desserts just for her every morning. Now in the beginning I assume it's blood, and keeping it, you know, like blood, plus she did forget her past, you know, so I thought maybe she doesn't know she's a vampire, but ooh, if only it was that. Now, next we have her classmates. You got Yuka Amino, and she's kind of like the bitchy friend, you know, and she's always yelling at her, and they're getting for being so ditzy. Then you have the twins, Nene and No, and they're the mischievous friends. Then you got the class president, Itsuki, and he's that nice guy that likes her. Of course, she's completely clueless because she's just stupid when it comes to these things. Then you got Shinichiro. Wow. Shinichiro. Alright, there we go. Shinichiro, and he's the bad boy who likes her, and she's nice to and tries to eat lunch with and cheer him up because he's sad and she's a good person. And okay, the anime starts off, it's very slice of life. Oh, and her teacher, who's also important, her science room or homeroom science teacher, what was it? Tsuyori, or right, there we go. And Kinako. So let's go Kinako. So basically, the first few episodes start off pretty simple thing. It's slice of life during the day, and at night she's having terrific fights with elder barons, and she's killing them. The first thing you tend to notice after 2 episodes of this is or 2 or 3 episodes like this, there's a seeming disconnect between what's going on and the two worlds she's living are disconnected. She also sees this puppy, which no one sees but her, that she tries to help out, who looks more like a fox and he has weird markings. And he becomes important later on too, but I'll get to him. Basically, as the story keeps going, we get until the episode where she and her friends are eating at the coffee shop, and they're told to watch out by a cop because the baker went missing and they don't know where it is. Saya has a flashback. So then her father warns her that, oh, this one can hide or something because he can't pinpoint his exact coordinates, so this one's tricky. So then Saya tracks down the baker, who's walking in a trance, pulls up to the train station in the middle of the night. One train cart pulls up, and instead of stopping him right there, because he's clearly looking like he's walking in a trance, and this is creepy as shit. Excuse me. Saya just watches. Oh, no, this is cool. There's nothing hokey here. And so she just watches. Whatever. And he gets in, tentacles come out of the cart and rip him to shreds. And for right when it starts to go around him, he kind of snapped back into it like, uh-oh. Then she walks into the cart, sees the blood on the ground, and like, she ends up fighting the creature, she kills it, it talks to her, and it tells her to remember the honor of the pack. Okay. Then the next time she goes out to hunt a creature, and people talk about how the whatchamacallit is still missing. There are 2 fishers fishing at night, And all of a sudden, 3 of these monsters come out of nowhere, start attacking them, and they say something, and she starts to save them. They say something like, "This isn't how it was supposed to be. They didn't tell us it was supposed to be like this," meaning they know something about it. She tries to save them. It really doesn't work. Now, something you have to understand about how Saya fights: until she gets motivated, her attacks are meaningless and mediocre at best. Meaning her sword can't cut through these things. She's barely stabbing them. Once she gets involved in the fight, once she gets focused, her eyes turn red. Then she's able to kill these things. But until that happens, so she just gets her ass kicked. So basically, these creatures who could also talk, they end up killing all the 2 humans. Do end up dying and being eaten, and she ends up beating the monsters, but they're like, you're not, they're the ones who are violating the covenant, blah blah blah. Now, she had gone to her father to talk about this, and he's like, well, you gotta ignore what they're saying, they're all liars. So this covenant thing is all hokey. And basically, but this is where things start to go awry for Saya, because after this, she starts getting headaches and is getting weaker during the day. Then they end up having an event in class where they decide to tell horror stories and watch scary movies and all this crap. It was brought up by one of the twins that this was the idea. In the end, Saya ends up passing out. They think it's because of the scary movies. I mean, the teacher started saying stuff like giving it away that she understood what was going on, because she was saying how, oh, I heard true story that people in this town used to disappear all the time and blah blah blah, and monsters kill it, and if you hear it, you die. So all this scary crap happens. Sai passes out. She ends up getting taken home. Then later, I forget which twin it is. It doesn't matter. Goes to visit her, apologizing, thinking this is all for bringing it up, for wanting to tell scary stories. Because she's like, nothing ever happens in this town. And then all of a sudden, one of these monsters show up at her house trying to eat both of them. So then she fights it off. She goes for her sword. As she's getting her sword, her friend gets eaten. You see this thing has her head in its mouth, completely covering her face, and starts chomping away until her body falls down, missing a head. And it's like, Saya snaps, and she kills this thing. Okay, so that's one friend down. Then the next day at school, obviously her sister's not around because she's missing, or, the sister's not around because the one sister is dead, but people think she's missing, and they ask her if, what's going on, if she knew anything, and she doesn't. She does, but she doesn't say anything. So then after class, she's walking, I guess, to the grocery store or some shit. The other sister tracks her down, who's possessed by some sort of shadow demon. Now, shadow demon, and this further spreads out and literally starts killing everybody around Saya, on the streets, in the supermarkets. It's just across the street. It's just indiscriminately killing people for like some period of time. A good 5 to 10 people die before Saya decides to act. She actually gets drawn into this weird shadowy dimension shit where she kills the monster, but apparently it also kills her friend, because when she comes out of this shadow dimension, her friend is in pieces. Now, but this is where I started to dislike Saya. And then later on I started to hate her because she doesn't react. People are being murdered all around her and she doesn't react. She just stands there. I don't know what the hell she's doing. She's just watching. So I start really hating her at this point. The dog ends up talking to her and she's like, "Are you an elder baron?" And he's like, "No, I'm not. There are other things in this world." And he's like, "Why do you fight?" She's like, "Well, I made a promise to somebody. Don't you think it's important to know who you made the promise to, that you'll protect them?" And she's like, "Yeah, maybe you should think about that." And again, the dog becomes more important as the story progresses. So then we get school gets canceled the next day, obviously, because now both twins are missing. And on her way home from school, she gets attacked by the sword demon guy in armor, who's cool. I mean, she also got, before that, she got attacked by a different demon. And I'm leaving monsters out on purpose because I'm only going to the ones that the moments I feel were more significant than others. I know I'm leaving stuff out, but I'm trying to go through it, just so you guys know. So, after fighting the sword demon, he cracks, and he's the second monster now to crack that she's weaker now. Why is she siding with the humans, the deceivers, when they're the ones lying and violating the covenant? And her old self would have probably sided with them on this one. And she's not as strong as who she is. And you know what? He should kill her and her dad, that bitch. Meaning he knows her father. Now, she ends up killing she ends up killing it. And then, seen by the bad boy, you know, confesses his love to her and says it's alright. And she's like, what do you mean, love? I don't get it. Why did you like me? Ugh, I don't even know how long I've known you. Like, what does that even mean, to like someone? I just don't get it. I'm sorry, but she's just that stupid. Like I said, I start really hating Saya at this point. And then, we do get a cool scene with the dog again, who explains to her that he's there to grant somebody's wish. He's not allowed to tell her who, but it's important that she starts questioning things. And he appears to her in the bath, and he's like, I'm glad you didn't freak out. And, you know, after her friends die, well, you know what, that's a later part, but, you know, and he tries to explain some things to her, and, there you go. Now, the next big thing to happen is, okay, school is canceled for a while, then they all get called back into school, when all of a sudden, it's just them in the classroom, the students. None of the teachers are there. Hell, none of the other students are there. It's just their one class. All of a sudden, this daddy longlegs type of monster who spins like a top appears on the field. They're like, what the hell is that? But don't worry, it looks slow. Now, Saya, at this point, this episode made me really hate Saya. Because instead of jumping down to meet the monster on the field, before it jumps up, because they're on the second floor, to the classroom and starts attacking them in the classroom, you would think that's what you would do if you had superhuman strength and ninja powers or something, right? But no, she allows the creature to jump into the classroom, instantly killing people as it's doing this. And it starts brutally killing like 75% of her class before she would act. And she only acted because the vice president, the VP, jumped in front. And then she drew her sword. She had her sword on her. So she fights back, but again, she's not motivated. Her heart's just not in it. So she gets her ass kicked. And the last third of her class starts to die. And the only people left now are like 2 or 3 of the girls, including her last female living friend, and like the student body president. So they escape and run away. And instead of leaving, by the way, except for the president, because he stays behind because he's worried about Saya. And instead of going, I don't know, down and out, these stupid bitches go up to the roof. But whatever, Saya fights the thing. She's still getting her ass kicked. Again, she's not, you know, half her friends are dead. Well, that's not motivation, right? I'm not motivated by half my friends dying. So she gets her ass kicked, and then she's saved by the VP, or the president, who uses the fire extinguisher to distract. Now, if they make you think he dies there, but he doesn't. And then it goes up on the roof and kills the last of her friends while she jumps up there to try to help them and doesn't do shit. And they all die. So all of her friends die. And now, there it is. Now she has enough, no more friends. Now she's motivated. So she freaking brutally kills the creature. Then it turns out the teacher is still alive because she hadn't gotten to the school yet. And the class president didn't die in the scene that made us think he might have been dead. Okay. Then she, you know, passes out again, whatever. She's home. Then the bad boy comes up and he's like, I never got the message to come to class. She's like, how come no one was at school? But none of that made any sense, and none of the teachers were there. He's like, I don't know. So blah blah blah. He's confessing his love. Then his dad comes out. Her dad comes out, interrupts. Then they get attacked. Then that dude dies. Then she kills the hair demon that attacks. She ends up talking to the dog some more. She hugs him and cries because literally all her friends are dead. And he explains that he's not actually a dog. He's actually a shopkeeper, and he's here to honor wishes. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever watched XXX-holic, like the Triple X-holic. He's supposed to be the main dude there who now runs the shop, and it's another clamp anime, and they toss him in there. As a matter of fact, he's even the same voice actor in English as the guy who plays him, and I think the same thing in Japanese. Like this, they got the two voice actors that have played both roles to have him play the same guy. So that's an interesting note. And if you like the other show, it's cool that they tossed him in there. I dig it, and really, it was fun. A nice little twist. Now, like I said, I fucking hate Saya at this point because she's useless. So then, the next day comes around, they meet up at the cafe, they're talking, the teacher's like, I want to go to your house, I want to check out the manuscript that your dad has, that's why I'm really here, blah, blah. She's like, I don't know, he's not home. They go, they check it out. And she's like, Saya, are you kidding me? These manuscripts, is there anything wrong with them? And they're new. And this is where the anime takes a dark, dark twist. Now, sorry about that. So this is where it takes a dark, dark twist. Here it is. These books are faked. They're just new blank pieces of paper. But I remembered that they were writing on these books. And of course she's seen them before. And this is where she got her lessons. Now, they walk outside and she's like, this is crazy. All of a sudden, one of the fucking twins comes out and starts talking to her. Oh, wait a minute. One of the twins are dead, right? Then the other twin comes out and starts fucking with her. And then her boyfriend, or the bad boy, comes out and starts fucking with her. And they're like, what's going on? And then they start talking about how we're the main cast and we're actors, and she still doesn't get it yet. So here's the motherfucking twist. Saya, these people pretended to die, and they explain how they faked their deaths. And they try to make her drink the blood of an elderberry. She's like, no, and the dude's like, yeah. And when she drank it, she starts to remember a little. He's like, and it turns out that basically this is a Truman Show. The entire town are hired actors designed to fool Saya into believing she has lived there her whole life. The main cast, however, is in on more of it, as they were given special talismans so that the monsters, who are also in on it, being held captive, forced to kill these people, wouldn't be killed. And then they said she was constantly drinking the blood of everybody she killed. Haha. And that she is the Covenant piece, and she's like the monsters, except for she's different She's a level above them. So she looks human, but instead of feeding on humans, she feeds on them. And the Covenant allowed, by the way, let me just explain the Covenant. Covenant allowed them, the monsters, to feed on a few humans every year, just enough to keep them fed, but not enough so they go on rampages. Now, and they're afraid of Saya because this also explains why they never fully fought Saya super seriously sometimes, because that wasn't the goal. Now, so they explained that none of the main cast died. This, even though she drank some of the blood, sends Saya into shock, because the two fucking twin bitches, who the real personalities start to show, they were never nice girls, they were kind of evil, they were into crimes, they were about to be sent to prison, like I think they were into some sort of prostitution. And as for the bad boy, he's only in it for the money, and he's freaked out about how dangerous shit was. And she's only in it, and the other chick is only in it for the research, the teacher. Then all of a sudden, the main stars come out. And, you know, the nice dude comes out. He's like, you know, and they never even had a chance to kill me yet. I was looking forward to that. And the chick, she's like, I know, I was killed. She's there. She's like, you know, they're in trouble. He's like, you know, even though you disabled the monitors and the GPSs, you know there was more shit tracking you. This entire town is rigged up with cameras, stupid. And then the mastermind to the plan comes in, and it is the innkeeper. And he is the motherfucker in charge of everything. You see, throughout this entire anime, and I didn't really mention it, she had been getting weird flashes where she was sitting in a room, there were weird blood things floating everywhere, she was strapped to a chair, blood was taken out of her, and this guy, in every episode we got this flashback, and this guy was talking to her, who sounded similar to the innkeeper, and it turns out that's what it was. The person she made the promise to was the innkeeper, and he wanted a game to see if you were really you, if you're you because of your experiences, or because of, you know, nature versus nurture type deal. And so he took away her memories with that coffee he was constantly doing. And you got a while, because of episode 2 before this, he started creepy touching her. So he kind of got a weird feeling off this dude, like he was trying to like do her. He was looking at her a little wrong towards the end. And so the coffee had been drugged to keep her from remembering. And the little cube thing she ate were actually pieces of flesh that were cut up from the creature she killed. And they said, you know, it tastes the closest thing to being, it tastes close to eating human. And so, you know, things start to go very wrong here. And so he's this super rich guy who found out about the pact and everything, and Saya and the Elder Barons, and they scared the shit out of him. And he decided to change his fate, to change things, and he had the money to do so. And so Saya got captured by him and his forces. And so this is what happens. Now, throughout the whole thing, Saya's in shock. Then all of a sudden he starts dealing, and a monster comes out of the shrine, and he starts dealing with his traitors. He's like, listen, man, all I wanted to do, dude, talking to the bad boy, was, all I wanted to do was get paid and get the hell out of here. It's too dangerous. And she's like, I just want to get my dissertation. And the girls are like, we didn't know any better. We're just kids being kids. Okay. Next thing you know, the monster, because remember they're supposed to have talismans that protect them. The monster comes out, kills the bad boy for real this time. Right? Just kills him. Then, like, smushes his head, and he's like, no! He's like, go get him, your next girls. And the girls start to run. One of them pushes the other one down. The monster, who has ridiculously long arms, grabs the first twin, starts bashing her head and down like this until she's dead. The second twin dies, and oh man, it is single-handedly was probably my favorite death And what happens is the long-armed monster gets the chick by both legs, upside down, holds her like this. Like, her legs are spread. You can see her underwear. You know, she's wearing a skirt. And he splits her from the legs, pulls her apart, and you see, like, almost from the vagina, like, just being her leg out of her socket and her guts. Oh, horrible. Oh, I felt that one. Alright, and at this point, the teacher's seen enough. She starts to run away. Creature goes after her, tries to get her, starts to, you know, wants to eat her whole. And at this point, Saya starts to snap out of it. Now, they succeed, and Saya wakes up. And what I mean, the real Saya wakes up. I mean, Blood the Last Vampire woke up. Not this crappy Saya that had been around the entire show. And mind you, the episode I'm talking about right now was 11, and this is now would be episode 12. So the entire show, up until this point, this is the first time you really get a good look at a Saya other than the flashbacks. And Saya is nasty. You know, this creature ends up putting her in his mouth, and she fights the creature. She takes, like, a pole and, like, stabs through him. She ends up jumping in his mouth to save the teacher. Kills this thing from the inside out. The teacher's still freaked out, starts to run away. The dude is like, yeah, so that whole sword, mystic sword thing was bullshit. You're just strong enough that anything sharp can, that'll make him bleed will do the job. And the teacher runs right into the arms of Saya's father, who bites her and kills her. Now this time it's not Saya's fault, because she actually did kill the monster responsible and acted in a way fast, you know, to save the teacher. She just happened to have bad luck and ran into somebody she shouldn't have. And then you find out that the father is like her. The only thing as close to her as she can get, because he's a half demon basically, and they've been using his blood, her blood, to make him submit. And so he's being used. Same with every other creature there. So the bad guy forces them to fight. She ends up slashing up his human form. He goes full on demon. They fight to the death. She ends up beating him. But as he's dying, he's like, I'm so... And she the whole time didn't want to kill him. And as he's dying, he's like, I'm sorry, Saya. You know, I know I was being controlled, but having you as my daughter was the best. I thought if you as my girl, this was the best time of my life. Because before this, he was alone, hated by both sides, you know? So, there you go. Now, I will say this. The main bad guy has, like, an erotic fixation on Saya. Like, he sort of loves her-ish in a fucked up way. And, you know, he had called this his grand experiment. Now, they made a bet that if she could protect everybody, he would give her something. And what he would give her is, because she's the Covenant, she's the physical representation of the Covenant, she cannot help kill humans. And he would take that restriction away from her. Now, or she would lose something precious to her. So, and she did lose that. So I don't know if that was the dad or whatever it was, but... So then she walks outside, she chases them down. He releases this weird bunny-looking creature after them. And the 3 remaining cast members hightail it out of there, down the steps. She thinks she kills the bunny monster by chopping him in half, straight down the middle, and keeps running. The thing freaking duplicates and multiplies when she does that. Like, that's his ability. And then she runs down the stairs. His guards shoot at her. Then the actor playing President pushes the guards out of the way, who then brutally shoot his ass instantly. And as he's dying, he's like, you know, she's like, why did you do it? He's like, I kind of did fall for Saya for real. She's like, but I'm not that Saya. He goes, yeah, but she's in you somewhere. And, you know, blah blah blah. And he dies. And then in the car ride, he's looking to Amino, and he's like, you know, you're the only one in the original cast not dead for real, huh? She's like, yeah, I have plans. I'm not gonna die, and I have ambitions. Right? She wants to be like governor or senator or mayor or some shit. I don't know. But as they're speeding off, I like to call this the most violent montage in anime, period. This is the carnage of death right here. This is like just a montage of death. These creatures are ordered to kill everybody in the town. Experiment over everybody's to die. So these creatures go out. This one creature and like brutally massacres the town. They start running people over. There's even a driving montage where it's like you behind the wheel, and they're just running people over like it's a video game. One of the most violent scenes ever. But she's not trying to save the town so much as she's trying to stop them from leaving. She does destroy the monsters responsible. And then they're escaping on a helicopter. They fly away. She runs after them. And I will say this, she does, with fighting her father, and at this point she's able to draw out a power beyond the red eyes, which is like a yellow power. She runs at the chopper, trying to save the day. All of a sudden, he pulls out a gun, bang, shoots her, blows out her eye socket and part of her brain, and she falls down. Like a G, he and his chick escape, and she is done. She's in the water. She washes up on shore. She wraps up her eyes. She starts to heal. The dog waits for her to be done. He's like, the wish was from you, and it was so that you stayed who you were after you were messed with. And so the anime ends. In the credits, she gets up finally. Everybody in the town, everything's dead, and she's just walking through the town trying to leave this place. And that's how it ends. Like her head is grown back some, but she still doesn't have an eye. And that's the anime. Now that I've said everything that's happened in the anime, really quickly, because this has been over a half hour now, it's probably on the 40-minute mark. I'm going to just get into what you just witnessed as this 12-episode arc in a whole, basically. I have watched animes that have tried to make me feel stuff, have tried to F with me before. This one, they literally had me to the point of hating the main character. And I don't mean how people dislike some main characters to shows. I mean, I hated Saya, and I liked Saya in every other incarnation I've ever seen her in. I hated her. Like, by the end of the show, I was just so angry at this chick, and I hated her. And then they pulled that move where, I mean, there were hints and signs, but, you know, and I'm pretty good at guessing the outcomes of shit. But this, woo, that twist, where it turns out to be a large Truman Show for her benefit. Wow. You know, that is crazy. I didn't see that coming. That threw me for a loop. And then at the very end, almost like, I know what you're thinking, guys. Here's the real girl. And then the real Saya showed up just as I started to hate her. Oh, man. I can't tell if this was genius or stupidity on their part, but I absolutely love the real Saya. And, oh man, it got me. And I originally was going to do this anime right after do the review right after I saw this. And then I said to myself, no, I'm too hopped up on weird emotions of anger and to write this properly. I didn't have a clear head, but now I do. And this is what I'm going to say to you. one of the greatest twists I've ever seen in any anime, period, where they actually were able to fool me. You know, I mean, you guys don't know me as well as you should yet. It is very hard to do that to me. I'm not trying to brag that I'm the most intelligent dude out there. I'm not, but I'm usually very good at figuring stuff out if I'm thinking about it. And I do that I ruin movies for people. But this thing, woo, didn't see it coming, saved the show. So it's crazy. I mean, it was good enough to keep me interested in watching. And to be honest, I had already bought the thing. I don't know, you know, it was good enough to make me continue watching it, and I was still trying to know what was going down, but crazy enough that it got me. So I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5, maybe a 4.5. The 4, it was gonna get like a 3. Hell of shit, it was gonna get like a 2.5. But I will say this: the animation in this piece is awesome, just amazing, great. The story, whew, up there. This was a villain's story. This wasn't a Saya good girl story where good conquers evil. This was a straight up villain story. This was a G story. He ended this like a straight up fucking G. He shot that bitch in the face, yo. He just shot her in the face. Brought her down like, oh, you're not gonna get me today, bitch. Bang, and she was in full like super chi mode, like she's gonna get you. Straight up villain status. Loved him as a villain. Creepy as hell. Drugging this bitch. And he just G at the end. Now I have looked it up. There is a movie to complete the series. Now I haven't seen it. I only saw the English dubbed version. You know, I didn't watch it originally in subtitles or whatever it was. So I know the movie came out last summer. I don't know when they're going to release it on Blu-ray over here in the U.S. when Funimation's going to get it, or Clamp, I mean, is going to get it, and well, I think it was both. Yeah, who put this out? Let me see. Yeah, Funimation and IG Production and Clamp. So I don't know when I'm gonna get it. But either way, I would love to see that revenge film where she goes after this motherfucker, because it's the one thing you feel like, and I'm glad that they put this in movie form, because I had to look it up afterwards, because I'll tell you right now, the series would have gotten way lower if I didn't know there was some story out there to finish this. So there you go. Yeah, just one of the greatest twist anime. The last episode has to be, and I have Gantz, I have Guyver, I've seen Guts in action. This has to be up there in the tops. Elfen Lane, most violent sequences episode ever that I've ever seen out of any anime. I dare you to find something more violent and then let me know. Fucked up. Fucked up. This was Gantz level fucked up. That's all I gotta say about this. So, go out and watch it. It'll fuck with your, if you haven't, again, I'm sorry guys, I'm sure by now you've seen this thing, and if you stuck around to the end, God with you, but this was one of those animes. Definitely worth the money. Definitely fucked up. And I've said enough. You've heard enough out of me. So click it up if you like it. Comment if you must. And please, please, please subscribe if you can. And this is Alertwolf signing off.